How do you feel about a municipal ambulance service?
Good evening, everybody. Anthony Estrada. Typically, I like to outsource almost everything. Reason being is because it's a machine that will never be broken. With that being said, the way I look at it is it's going to be, I would have to look at all the numbers and see exactly what it is in the cost, because then you got to take care of the maintenance. You got to take care of the fuel for the vehicles and anything that goes along with it. So typically, I like to, like I said, outsource everything because it's a machine that never gets broken. But without looking at the numbers, it's hard to give you a real answer until I take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. In the state of Arizona, we have what's called a certificate of necessity, and that's what designates who serves that area for ambulance service. Right now, that belongs to one company, which is AMR. It used to be another few companies. That company's been having problems. It's been bought out a few times. So we've been exploring as a city the opportunity to run our own ambulance service. Typically, I would like to outsource stuff, but we have looked at it, and we think we have a sustainable plan that won't cost much extra money for our fire department to do it, but give a very high level of service to our constituents here and the citizens in Casa Grande. The one thing that we get now is we still have one of our firefighters ride in on the ambulance with the AMR people, but we don't get reimbursed for our time and our supplies the way I think we should. So I think we're getting a little shortchanged from the certificate of necessity we have. So I think our next plan should be apply for the certificate of necessity for this area so that we would be able to try to provide our own ambulance service. Thank you.
I am in favor of taking on the ambulance service. I've seen the study. It is projected to be cost neutral and to provide a much higher level of service. The other benefit by having our fire department manage the ambulance service is that all of the personnel that will be necessary to add to take on the ambulance service will be certified firefighters, EMTs, and potentially paramedics. Those are personnel that we can draw upon for special events, for high-intensity incidents where we need extra personnel. I think it's a win-win. The studies bear that out, and the consultants that they hired were quick to point out that they have not had one municipality that has switched over and taken on the ambulance service that has failed in the area of cost neutrality. So I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I echo the previous two speakers that I also believe that it would behoove the city to get into the ambulance business, at least based on the numbers that we've seen. We did have a study session on this, and it was cost neutral to Bob's point. So I think it's a good idea. I think we need to look at it a little bit further, but there are some opportunities for the city. Number one, we get better service, as Matt pointed out. But additionally, 96% of all the calls our fire department gets are for ambulance type services. They're for health reasons, not because there's a fire. So if we can cut sending a large truck out every time we get a call, then the citizens save money. And so I think in the long run we'll actually save money if we can get this CON, which is a certificate of necessity from the state. It will take some time to get it done. It's not going to happen tomorrow. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, before I begin, can I just ask everybody to give a hand to the dispatch for putting this on? Well, I'm going to disagree, which isn't the first time I've ever done that. But the cost of this thing is going to be horrendous, I'm afraid. No ambulance company makes any money. Most of them lose money. The one that's operating will still be operating. They don't go away. We don't get it. We compete with them. And as I say, the cost of hiring probably 20, 30 new personnel is really, really expensive. And when you add the perks that the city gives to them, I think it's going to be a money hole if we try to do it. And I think we really need to, we've just barely got into it, but I think they really need to study it, the council members, and look at that, because there's not a one of them
Time.
that make any money. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also would like to thank everybody and thank the dispatch. I'm totally in support of it. I believe the city needs to control its own destiny in regards to this service. I believe that it will improve the standards that currently are operating. The quality of life for the individuals that get served will also improve. I think it's a service that is part of a city, and if we can own all of it, I think we're in a lot better shape. Just imagine that the individuals that are responding are from the city, they care about the city, they're connected to your fire department, and all of those things really are going to improve the quality of life. The number that we have seen in our study session did not indicate that the costs were going to be very high. In fact, it was going to be cost neutral. And we just had that study session probably about 2 months ago. Thank you.
What is your opinion about public employee unions?
That's a very good question. I know when I did my response for the newspaper, there was a little piece in it that was not included on it. And first of all, they recognize that the city of Casa Grande already has 2 associations that are fire and police that have been in existence probably at least 20 years and so forth. And they have had a real good relationship with the city. The staff that are part of the 2 associations are the same individuals that protect us and respond to us when we are in need. Also, part of what came out of our conversations was that we did develop a city enhancement team that brings together all of the departments. But I think if any of the other departments wanted to create an association, it's part of our city, it's part of a thing that they're able to do, and they bring in the staff together. There is no boogeyman that's involved in it, and thank you very much.
Ralph, I'll take the other side. I'm not in favor personally of unions in the city. They're big groups and they can take power away from the rest of all the employees we have at the city. We've developed right now an employee engagement group. And what this is they have a group, and the peer group selects them. If you're in the police department, the employees are selected, not the department head. And they all come together and they work on things when it comes to payroll and benefits and that type of thing. They work as a group. And what I'm afraid of, when you get a couple of unions going, our smaller departments get kicked to the side. The power stays with the unions. So I'd much rather see us go as we are, give them a voice, let it come in, be heard, talk to them, but not unionize. Thank you.
As far as the unions are concerned, unions were created to represent people who didn't have a voice. And so in the city of Casa Grande, our employees have a voice. There is a community group that meets with the city manager on a regular basis. They hear grievances, issues, opportunities from our employees. And at this point in time, I don't see a need for a union. I'm not against unions. I was a union member when I first started working. And so there is a place for them. But here in Casa Grande, I don't think that we need them. The other issue that I see is that the union will only represent one group at the city. It won't represent the rest of the city. We have 450 employees, and you'll have 90 of them in a union, and you'll have the rest of the employees not in a union and not represented. So I don't think that's fair, number one, to the majority of the other folks that work for the city. So that's my thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you.
One thing that is consistent with city employees. They want the ability to be heard. And I think a lot of them have a concern that maybe that isn't transferred all the way up to city council. I have been in the position of working with the union. I was the police chief here, and we have a union, actually two associations in the police department. Very easy to work with. Sit down and have an informal conversation and develop some ideas and approaches. City government is set up with a firewall in there, and that's at the city manager level. That city manager, God bless him, he has to manage the budget, he has to manage the employees, he has to communicate with council. And that firewall is there, make no mistake about it. I do not think that city council should recruit people for a union, but I also don't think they should stand in the way of it. If a group of employees wants to organize and wants to try to benefit themselves along with service of the city,
Thank you. Interesting question here, because we do have a couple of associations right now that work within our city. The problem with that is it only represents a small slice of our employees, and we do have a lot of employees at the city. One thing I don't like about officially recognized unions is that would tie my hands as a councilman, the way I understand it, is then we can't talk with them and figure out what the problems are coming up from the people that work for the city. There was a place for unions back in the day when people were having a lot of employment problems, but I think that this city is a wonderful place for people to work. We work with all the employees right now. We have the employee engagement group like we talked about. And if we did have unions, we could have up to 5 or 7 different unions that we'd have to deal with. We have great employee benefits. We have the paid time off program, which in fact we work with some of our employee groups to make sure that that worked and that it worked for everybody. We gave them an option to go to the paid time off or the old program, and overwhelmingly, all the employees that have started since then have picked the paid time off program. So we do listen to the concerns. The city manager listens to the concerns and brings them to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Andrew Stark.
As far as unions go, I don't think Casa Grande needs it. The no reason being is because they have a voice. Unions are typically exactly what the other gentleman said. They're for people who don't normally have voice, but with the way Casa Grande is set up, they're free to come and go in and speak with whoever needs to be spoken with. So, thank you.
Do you feel the city is prepared for future growth?
I do feel the city is prepared for future growth. We have a lot of platted lots right now that are ready to go. In fact, a big homeowner just bought out the rest of the lots that are in the Lago subdivision. As a council, in the past, we have concentrated on getting ready for this growth, especially industrial growth, which helps us to provide jobs, which will bring more people here to buy more houses. We've built sewer lines out to our industrial areas. We've upsized our sewer plants so that we can take all of these new businesses and be shovel ready for them. When they want to build, we are ready for them. You know, I've lived here a long time, and I've seen when we were a small town, my whole life, as a matter of fact. Now that we're a bigger town. And we need to look to the future to grow, but we also need to respect our past and remember what our roots are as Casa Grande, because we want to retain that small town feel, but we can't stop growth, because if we're not growing, we're dying. So we are ready for growth. We'll be here. We want people to come, but it's going to be responsible. We're not going to be a heyday. It's going to be responsible growth managed in a way that can sustain. Thank you.
Thank you.
The short answer is yes, I do believe the city is prepared. And I would like to point out that a lot depends on what your definition of growth is. Some people may say that means a new grocery store coming in, or a new factory, or new houses coming in a certain area. And the fact is, all that is cyclical. One depends on the other. And I think the city has done a very good job in providing the infrastructure for industry to come in and provide the jobs. We have platted lots in several areas of the city that are ready for home builders. And all of that, once you get the jobs, you get the restaurants, you get everything. And I think the city's done an excellent job of covering all of those bases. My hope is to be part of that and to continue that tradition. But yes, I think we're very well set.
Well, if anybody knows me, I am a growth guy, so I truly believe that the city of Casa Grande is poised for a lot of, for some responsible growth, to Matt's point. And, you know, we've expanded the sewers, we doubled the sewer plant, and that was thanks to the previous leadership on your council. Your current council has continued that in making sure that we have financial responsibility and we're fiscally strong. This is probably the fiscally strongest community in the state of Arizona in terms of our per capita. And I will tell you that we are the envy of a lot of other cities. We have at least 23 different industries that are located here, and the reason they're here is because we are prepared for growth. And I think we will continue to grow. Thank you.
Do I believe we're prepared at this point in time? No. But I think looking ahead, we have to be prepared. Residentially, we have 5,000 approved lots in Casa Grande. Water assurance is a great big thing right now. All 500 lots have water assurance. There are 2,000 of those 3,000 lots are shovel ready to go into, so we're ready to do that. We've also got, we're looking ahead, and we've got the 4 big companies that have shown interest in our company: Dreamport, the Lucid, Phoenix Mart, and Atessa. And Atessa and the has said, and so has Dreamport, that they want about 10,000 employees when they start to come out of the ground in 2020.
I do believe we're ready. We've been working on infrastructure needs for the last probably 7 years. Every year we put about $1.5 million in infrastructure to help support. I think one of the things, if you look at a litmus test, that is that when businesses want to come here, like Atessa and Lou said, and so forth, when they look at Casa Grande, they look at it because they believe that we are also ready. The roads, the processes, the licensing, all of those things we've been working on together as a council, because we understood that the growth was going to come, and we wanted to be able to position ourselves to be able to do that. I think Casa Grande is really a model in terms of the state, and when you've had national companies wanting to come to Casa Grande, you know that they're looking at us because they feel that we're ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Strong.
Do I feel we're ready? I really do. Growing up in the area, I remember when McDonald's on Florence was the edge of town. Having just we've come a long ways. We are ready. I think what we need to do is start getting some of the smaller things in place, so that way when bigger companies and more people come, we're more prepared to add transportation. I think stuff like that needs to get done, put into place. When you go to other cities, those are the things they already have, and that's why people want to go to that town. We need to get Casa Grande ready and prepared, so when they do come, and give them a reason to come, and allow Casa Grande to expand that much quicker. Thank you.
We will have closing statements. Let's start with Mr. Powell.
Listen, I appreciate everybody coming tonight. I love Casa Grande. I've told people before, you don't need 7 people like me on the council, but you need one on there that's conservative and it's going to watch the spending and do those kind of things that a lot of people expect us to do. I think we have a wonderful community. I think we have a wonderful future in front of us. My deal on is, are we ready? I don't think we're ready at this point in time, but I think we're getting ready. And I think by the time that the growth occurs, we will be ready to take it and go with it. And I think it's important in the meantime to continue to keep our smaller town, rural type atmosphere in place. We've got a sense of community and a lot of people that love to live here, and we want you to keep being comfortable to live here in Casa Grande. God bless.
also want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's always good to see people who are interested in learning a little bit about your candidates and or even your incumbents that are here. So, and I will tell you that your current council works very well together. We have a great working relationship. In fact, I know there's a couple of them that are out in the audience as well. So thank you guys for coming and listening and supporting as well. The city of Casa Grande really is an amazing place. It has so much to offer. It has, as I said, 23 different industries. We are the envy of any other town other than maybe Phoenix and Tucson. And we're obviously much, much smaller. I think that we need to continue with our infrastructure, continue with our education and workforce development. We need to worry about our quality of life and make sure we improve those with the opening of our community center, which will happen in March of this next year in 2019. So I expect to see everybody out there for that. And also the other pieces of our community, with our healthy community, with the homelessness task force that we're going to roll into a homeless coalition that will be announced in August 29th with the help of Lisa and Donna McBride, Lisa Fitzgibbons and Donna McBride, my two councilwomen who worked with me tirelessly on this project. So we have all these great things that we're rolling out, all these great things we're working on. And I just hope that you're all proud of what we do and proud of the hard work that's been put in by your current council. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for your support. Thank you.
City councils are made up of 6 or 7 people on purpose, and that's because the diversity of ideas coming together is almost always better than one idea by itself. I have lived my life in Casa Grande, grew up here, been here since 1966. I served on your police department for 33 years. I've driven these streets at night and patrolled them and tried to keep people safe. I was your police chief for 14 of those years. I retired about 5 years ago. Currently, I serve as a judge pro tem with the Justice Court System in Pinal County, and I also serve on the board of directors for Horizon Health and Wellness. In there, we deal with people with mental illnesses and with drug and alcohol problems. I've spent most of my life, certainly all my adult life, serving the community in one form or another, and I would like to continue to do that as one of your council members. Thank you.
Thank you. I would also like to thank everyone tonight. There's probably more exciting things you could be doing tonight, but we're glad that you're here with us. I want to thank the Dispatch and the Kramer Cooper family for having us tonight, sponsoring this event, as well as these guys up here. It's been fun tonight, so I appreciate it. The only thing we would ask for is a little cooler weather, and I promise if you vote for me in December, but seriously, I love this town. I've lived here my whole life, kindergarten through high school, went to ASU, go Devils, came back, bought my first house, raised a family here. I was student body president of high school, junior high, and the grade school, so it's only natural that I would be there. My friends still tease me that you still go to the student council meetings all the time. It's kind of the same thing. But our growth here is what it's about. It's about our future. I'm one of those kids from here. I help with the youth commission. I'm the council liaison to the youth commission, so I get to see. I've worked with the Boys and Girls Club on their board, so I like to see the youth, and not to mention, I am the youngest member on the council right now. Not the best looking, but the youngest. But I'm one of those people too. What I like to see is us to grow up here, come back, buy a house, work, raise a family. And Zoe Cooper is one of those people too. Casa Grande Youth Commission and just bought our first house back here in Casa Grande. So that's what we're going for, providing these jobs for people. Because we want people to live here and work here. So, on August 28th, I asked for your vote. I would be honored to have your vote because I love this town, I love this job, and I'd love to see all the friends and neighbors out here tonight. This is the best city we could ask for. We're very special, right here between Phoenix and Tucson, because we don't have to deal with their problems, but we've got the best, and people don't know it. But we're trying to get that word out here because we love Casa Grande, we support Casa Grande. It's up to us to promote this city because we want these big businesses to come here and provide jobs. But it's our duty as city council, as a city, to have educated workforce ready for these people. And while we're on the city council, we're going for that. And those of you know me, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
being a Marine Corps combat veteran, I know how to lead. I know how to work well with a team. But I also know that mission always comes first. The mission in Casa Grande is to help it grow. And with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank Dispatch and vote for me. I really, coming from a humble beginning, growing up in a working poor family, I managed many businesses. That being said, with all these businesses, I've always made sure that they were successful. I can do that for this time as well. And my mom used to say, Dios bendiga a todos. God bless you.
Last but not least, Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you very much for being here, and thank you very much for hosting. A short story. 1982, I graduated from ASU as well, School of Social Work with my master's, and they offered me a job here in Casa Grande. Someone went up to recruit me, and I talked to my wife Blanca, and she said, well, somebody told me that the roads aren't very good and there's not a lot of amenities. Well, 3 months later, I was still unemployed. Yeah, I know, I was hard. And so I said to myself, we talked about it and said, we ought to go visit Casa Grande. So there we are coming on I-10 with no traffic, right? And the car was $500, and it only lasted like 2 months after that. And we turned into off the freeway on Pinal, and we looked at each other and we said, wow, this is nice. And we felt that we were at home. 36 years later, here I am, serving as your city council member and most proud to be a servant to this community. I'm very proud of what Casa Grande has done. We have a strategic plan that lays out 5 major areas that now guide the city. We're working on the infrastructure needs that are bringing in the big businesses. That if any of them come, we're talking anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 jobs at a minimum. We have a beautiful downtown area where you can go and shop local and have the taste of what it is to be a small community. We have so much that we are able to offer. We have a lot of things to work on still. We're doing a lot of work with the homeless. I think there's more work that can be done with veterans. I think there's really that quick. And I want to thank Blanca and my daughters for being here and their support. Thank you.